Yeah, you, right? Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks for joining us, New Orleans. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. Sometimes we run into those kind of problems. Yeah, you're right. Thanks for joining us on a wide open Wednesday edition of the program where you're the show producer. Boy, some really great news today that got me pumped up. I don't know about you, but when I hear about Damar Hamlin released from the hospital 8 days after that terrible, I don't even like talking about it. Just that video was absolutely brutal, hard to watch. I think ESPN did a great job of not replaying that over and over again. But Damar Hamlin, released from the hospital in Buffalo, was released from the Cincinnati hospital, flown to Buffalo, checked into a Buffalo hospital to continue his rehabilitation. Now they're like, you can do it at home. Reportedly, the other day in Buffalo's NFL game, they ran the opening kickback off for a touchdown. Supposedly the buzzers and bells and nurses' stations ran, the folks that were monitoring that at the nurses' stations, those nurses ran into Damar Hamlin's room because he was so excited. So really great news there. Incredible story. Speaking of an incredible story, after 22 years in the state legislature, Karen Carter Peterson will go to jail for 22 months, almost 2 years. I believe she might be able to get out in about 19 or 20. She'll report March 6th. Karen Carter Peterson sentenced to 22 months in prison. The investigation continues on that trio of, I just call them BS political consultants. This Graylin Group or Jalen Group, former New Orleans City Councilman Jay Banks, his brother Graylin. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. There's so many people in New Orleans that work for their paycheck, like me, like you. Most of us, male, female, gay, straight, black, white, Republican, Democrat, even those extremists I always talk about, lunatic left, wacky right. We work for a living. We don't get any extra perks. We don't have a city contract or some BS connection where we're just receiving a check for doing nothing. Boy, in New Orleans, especially city of New Orleans, but you folks in Jefferson Parish in the North Shore, don't think you're immune to this. There's so many folks that are just basically, I don't know if you want to call them leeches or whatever, don't work for a living, get up every morning, shower, put on a suit, live in a nice house, drive a nice car, wear an expensive suit, and pretend they're actual businessmen or businesswomen. So many people that work for the city of New Orleans that don't do anything. They go to work every day. What can I get away with not doing? That's what's so scary about the work at home thing. For private businesses, that's fine. That's their choice. Productivity seems to be increasing. At City Hall, you've got jokers that don't do anything, bosses that don't do anything. You're going to allow those people to work at home? That's just a scary thought. You're running for mayor, you're running for city council. Hey, give me $5,000, $2,500, whatever the limit might be for a campaign, and I'll get you some $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year job with the city where you won't have to do anything. You'll be working at home. Nothing will be expected from you. Just kick back, and every 2 weeks, go to the mailbox, and there'll be a check for you. Or in 2023, and of course, years going back, direct deposit. No, it's a joke. The investigation continues now on these BS political consultant groups where Karen Carter Peterson gave them her campaign funds, gave them Louisiana Democratic Party funds under the guise of, you're going to do some political consulting work for us. Now, I don't know what the percentage was. You keep 10%, you keep a third, we split it 50-50. I have no idea. But you're going to funnel that money back to me, Karen Carter Peterson. Karen Carter Peterson would not be going to jail if the money wasn't funneled back to her. She pulled a Walter Reed, a John Alario, with the campaign funds, using her campaign money for personal use. It's like Mayor LaToya Cantrell using city things like the Pontalba apartment for personal use. No, this is a John Alario, Walter Reed gimmick, enriching oneself off of campaign funds. And then Karen Carter Peterson, so powerful in the Democratic Party, she funnels Louisiana Democratic Party money to these groups like the Jalen Group that don't do anything at all with it except take a cut and funnel it back to Karen Carter Peterson. No, thank goodness the feds are still looking into a trio of these New Orleans BS political group, New Orleans-based BS political consulting groups like the Jalen Group. I mean, it's a former New Orleans city councilman and his brother. No, I mean, it'd be nice to get a check and not work. But that's the problem with New Orleans, and that's why it's so dysfunctional and broken. You have these kind of gimmicks going on all the time. So step one in the books, Karen Carter Peterson sentenced to 22 months in prison. One thing I don't like about Karen Carter Peterson's excuses, like all gambling related, you know, like I'm not a criminal. It's this addiction that got me. Yeah, it's a disease that got me. I'm not a criminal that stole money for personal use. It's the disease that forced me to do it. Not saying it's not wrong, but it's just sort of a lame situation. All the money didn't go into slot machines or the blackjack table. Karen Carter Peterson enriched herself as well. Maybe it's buying expensive purses or clothes or going out on, to dinner or going out of town or whatever. All the money did not go exclusively to gambling problems. And that's just it's not coming totally clean, I don't believe. And it's not showing total remorse. It's like, hey, it's not my fault, blaming it on this disease, gambling. And it's just sort of half you know what and kind of lame. So step one, Karen Carter Peterson. I don't wish that on her. I've met her a few times. Nice lady, always nice to me. But she was stealing. She's a criminal. She was enriching herself for whatever reasons with campaign money like John Alario and Walter Reed. Walter Reed went to jail. I don't know how John Alario got away with it. But now it's the FBI investigations focusing in on these New Orleans-based BS political groups. Hey, when we come back, Herb Anderson will join us talking about the parking lots. Don't move.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about fresh local fish like flounder, snapper, and speckled trout, fried, broiled, or grilled. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, now with 4 area locations. Canal at Carrollton, on the North Shore and Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, and now in Metairie, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. The Woodhouse Day Spa.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, no cool spots. NolaAC.com, no cool spots.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Yeah, you, right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you, wide open Wednesday edition of the program. This guy spoke to the city council today. He's the chairman of the National Parking Association. He's the chairman for Universal Parking. Locally, you might know it as Go Park. Runs, controls a lot of surface parking lots around the Superdome, the arena, the CBD, the Sanger, etc. Herb Anderson joins us on the program. Herb, a pleasure. Thank you.
Hi, Corey. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for joining us. What were you doing today at the council chamber? What were you guys chit-chatting about?
Well, one correction. I am the former chairman of the National Parking Association, so I'm not the current chairman. But so, just to be clear. But so what were you talking about? We were talking about the Community Development Committee of the council was putting forward a ordinance or a recommendation for an ordinance for to the full council regarding additional parking measures around the Superdome, the CBD, the Sanger for Mardi Gras parades, and quite a few other things.
And was it about you guys basically enhancing the security on your own private-owned lots?
Absolutely. And, we applaud the city council. Well, we're as concerned as anyone regarding the break-ins that have occurred in the market, along with the other general crime that's taken place in the New Orleans market. We have properties all over the country, and the New Orleans market has caused us more concern. And it breaks our heart because I founded this company in New Orleans and headquartered in New Orleans.
Wow.
So it breaks my heart to see, your hometown and my hometown, Corey,
yep.
Having this crime issue.
Now, Herb, how many lots have you had problems with? Like, I think last weekend, that Saints game, there were about 6 to 8 lots. It could be different owners, obviously, private companies like yours. How many lots have you guys had problems with? Just say, for instance, on Sunday.
On Sunday, we had one lot that had an issue, but certainly it takes place throughout the whole city. There's no question. It's a major concern, and we have tried to take steps to enhance security on the lots. We have cameras on all of our open surface lots and most of our closed parking garages as well.
Wow.
We have security at the ones that have enough business to demand that. We have off-duty sheriff's officers. We have quite a bit of security. We have roving management. But I'll tell you, Corey, we've had some issues where we've had management on the lots, attendants on the lot that saw break-ins, and people with guns breaking into cars came after our managers, came after our attendants, in some cases security guards.
Wow. It's like that Tasty Donut break-in. I mean, the employees ran out the back of the building. They're not there to be security. So are you bringing in security to protect your own employees because the city can't do it? I guess what I'm getting at, Herb, the Leslie Harris, Freddie King potential ordinance, it seems like it puts the onus on the business owner. I mean, you guys happen to be a parking lot owner. I might own a clothing store or a bar or a restaurant. It's my choice if I want to provide security. It's my choice if I want to stay in New Orleans or not. Shouldn't the city and the NOPD and they should have bright lights on the street? They should have police cameras, maybe crime cameras on the street. Is it fair to put the onus on you guys? Which, I don't know, if I own a surface parking lot and the city requires me to do certain things different from anyone else in the country or different from what I came into New Orleans thinking I was going to be dealing with, I don't know if that seems fair or not. It just doesn't seem right that it's being put on you instead of the city handling it.
Yeah, to us, it's not fair, and it needs further thought before you do a knee-jerk reaction to some of these break-ins. Certainly something has to be done, but one of the things they're not addressing, Corey, is the fact that so many of these cars that are being broken into are really not on parking lots, but are on the street and paying metered parking to the city. So that's just as big of an issue as breakage into surface lots, but we certainly agree. And also, Corey, there are unintended consequences to the actions that the city council wants to put forward. And those are, first of all, these attendants are not, it specifically says attendants on parking lots. And these attendants are not trained in security. They're not, it's putting them in harm's way. And I agree with you, any other retailer, it's up to them whether they want to provide security. So I don't know if it would be considered fair to single out one industry and say, okay, you have to have security on a 20-space surface lot that doesn't generate enough to even support it. But also it's going to mean higher cost for parking.
Yep.
And significantly higher. I mean, this could double and even triple the cost of parking for these events. And on top of that, you're going to have some lots that are just going to close because they can't either get attendance on the parking lot, because we all know trying to get employees these days how tough it is, or it's just not going to make economic sense on the lots. So it's going to close locations, which means less parking availability to the public to come down for these events.
I mean, I think if you have policemen and sheriff deputies that are or even individuals that want to be a cop that are weary of being an NOPD officer because of the violent crime in the city. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, Herb. The average security guard is someone with a gun, and it's a visual deterrent. But I mean, if we can't get cops to come on board because they think it's violent, how is just the average security guard gonna come on board? And how are they gonna legitimately protect a piece of property? I don't know if they're specifically trained to handle these violent, ruthless criminals in New Orleans that don't seem to care. I mean, they're not concerned about the NOPD. I don't think they're going to be concerned about the rent-a-cop type security guard.
No, you're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, one of my competitors shared with me today, and then spoke at the city council meeting as well, to say that he had an armed security guard at one of his garages on Rampart, and a car came in with 5 armed men who jumped out of the vehicle, and of course the security guard ran and got away. But what is he going to do with 5 people waving weapons? I think it's a larger issue than saying let's have attendance. We have a larger issue here that we want to be part of. We want to be a solution, part of the solution, and we're not. Forget about the financial side of the equation. We want everyone to be safe, and we want to be able to help with that. But I think it's a larger issue. We're paying sales tax. We pay a parking tax on top of sales tax, and of course property tax on these properties as well. And so, that contributes, that we hope, to the police department and to all the civil services that we have. But I think it's a larger issue we're dealing with than just saying a knee-jerk reaction and having parking attendants on lots.
No, I'm going to shoot some guns on Saturday with some experts, and I might be purchasing a gun again, but I don't know if I am, Herb, because I'm thinking through this thing. Is that going to help me or not? And I have no problem. I'm pro Second Amendment. I don't mind people that have guns, but I think just that, hey, watch out, I'm armed by Smith & Wesson bumper sticker. I don't. You got 5 guys that roll up pointing a gun at you already. What are you, Clint Eastwood? You're going to be able to quick draw and shoot the guns out of their hands? I mean, it's foolishness. And yeah, I agree with you. I think the problems are a lot bigger and they need to be addressed. But I have empathy for you or any business owner where the city isn't doing their job protecting business owners and citizens. We don't have streets lit up properly. We don't have enough NOPD out there. And they're kind of putting the onus on you guys or the business owner. I just don't think that's right. It's America. It should be your choice if you want to have security at that lot or not.
Yeah, we certainly agree with that. And as you said, any other business, if you own a suit company and you're selling suits in the middle of New Orleans, you're not required to have a security guard there. But we agree. It's a bigger issue.
I don't even know if the law requires a bank. I'm not sure. I don't know if a bank has to have a security guard or a jewelry store. I think they just choose to do it. I might be wrong on the bank one, but I think that's a big point on it. Any final thoughts, Herb, on what maybe the solution or answer is? And did you learn anything today?
The council that has a recommendation going to the full council. So hopefully we can, there was one amendment that was being put forward today too, to say, look, we should do a study on this first before we, just react to it. And I think that would be the smarter move, frankly. To do a larger, that was by Leslie Harris, and Leslie put that up, and they ended up putting the recommendation forward for the full attendant.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. Herb Anderson, a pleasure. Thank you so much for the time.
NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and
That's
every
Herb
day.
Anderson joining us. Corey Johnson with you.
And by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Kanye West was seen shopping at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google.
Okay, I think Kanye was talking about something else entirely. Super Discount Store on Paris Road in Chalmette.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Enjoy outdoor dining on the streetcar line, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. As usual, a ridiculous amount of stuff going on. I don't know if you heard that commercial a few minutes ago. Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton. This is really simple, and we're already changing the way folks talk about jewelry and diamonds all around the city. A few months ago, before Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers jumped on board the program, I was talking about folks pushing these man-made diamonds that are made in 3 weeks. It's a terrible scam, these so-called diamond stores. No, it's a terrible scam. They are literally pushing man-made diamonds that are made by a machine in about 3 weeks' time. and pushing these like they're the same quality as a natural diamond that's over 1 billion. That's with a B, over 1 billion years old. Now, I know a lot of you out there are like, why am I going to pay $3,000 for the Chanel purse or the Louis Vuitton purse when I can get a fake for $300? That's fine. If that's the route you want to go with the man-made diamonds. Get your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other, the person that's your best friend, that is the most important person in your life. Get them something that's second rate, that's not high quality, that's not the real thing. You can go that direction, or you can get them the real thing. And I'm not saying go out and get them a $3,000 Chanel or Louis Vuitton purse, but get them at least something that's real, not a knockoff or something that's fake. I don't know. It's my best friend. It's my wife. It's my girlfriend, the most important person in my life. I'm going to do something second rate. Now, there's a lot of, quote, diamond stores out there that are pushing these man-made diamonds. And it's really just taking advantage of the customer. What they'll do is they'll put out a diamond, X amount of carats, that's man-made, and it's $3,000. And then they'll bring a 1 billion-year-old natural diamond and put it right next to it. That's $3,000. Now, the natural diamond appreciates in value. As I said, it's 1 billion years old. There's a limited quantity of them. The man-made diamond, 3 weeks old, going down in value every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month. Going down in value. There's a unlimited supply, and more people are doing it, and they're flooding the market with these. The point is, the man-made diamond will have a higher rating, will have better clarity, will be a better looking diamond by the layman's eyes compared to the natural diamond, of equal monetary value, because the man-made diamond is pretty much worthless. So of course it's going to be less expensive and have better clarity to the layman like you or me than the natural diamond. And maybe that's good enough for you. Go get the man-made diamond. Fool yourself, fool your wife, do the whole 9 yards. I don't know. For me, I'm getting something that's a lifetime purchase. That's for the most important person in the world to me. I'm going to get a real diamond, a diamond that's 1 billion years old, that appreciates in value and has a limited, there's a limited amount of them. They're basically rare. Now, these diamond stores are scamming folks, and we have changed the, kind of the way folks are discussing it, especially these diamond stores. They're doing commercials now where they're acknowledging they're selling man-made diamonds. They're telling you they have natural diamonds too. They've got hundreds, if not thousands, of man-made diamonds in the store, and they've got 5 real diamonds in the store. They don't want you buying the real diamond. They want you buying the man-made diamond because they make huge profits on it, and they're selling it to you sort of based off of the real diamond, like, oh, it's less expensive, better clarity. And it's fake. It's not real. It goes down in value. To me, it is a waste of money. You're buying something that's not a real diamond. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton. Ken Friend's been in the jewelry business for about 40 plus years. His family's been at it since the mid-70s. Real diamonds, 1 billion years old, highest quality. Go see Ken Friend. Like he says, you've got a friend in the jewelry business. You can go during regular business hours. You can set up an appointment off hours when they're not even open. The store's not open to the general public, and they'll sit down with you, and you can sit face-to-face with Ken or one of the folks over there at Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, and they'll explain all of this to you. No, this is one of the most important purchases you'll make for your wife, girlfriend, loved one, best friend. Don't make the mistake. Don't get fooled by these so-called diamond stores. Go to a real jeweler. Go to Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton and Uptown. You will not be disappointed. Ken will take care of you because you do have a friend in the jewelry business at Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton. Corey Johnson with you, a wide open Wednesday edition of the program with you till 6 o'clock. On radio, oh so fine, 93.9 FM. We're also on New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. You folks leaving the metro area, maybe beeline into Baton Rouge, Mississippi Gulf Coast, Alabama Gulf Coast, Panhandle of Florida, check us out on 600 AM. A sneaky little, it's pretty amazing, a sneaky little powerful AM signal that goes all over the Gulf Coast. Take the show with you on the road. Hey, we're on TV, 2 hours on radio, 4 to 6, 90 minutes of fun on TV every weekday, 4 to 5:30. Cox Channel 4 television all over Louisiana. If you subscribe to Cox TV, I'm on Cox Channel 4. That's Your View, Louisiana, 4 to 5:30 weekdays. If you're a charter television subscriber, Spectrum TV, all over Louisiana, Spectrum Channel 333, 4 to 5:30, 90 minutes of fun on television. Our website's CoreyTalks.com. Live streaming there, audio or video. Take the show with you on the road, the hunting camp, the gym, wherever you might be. We're also on YouTube the last few months. Check out our YouTube channel. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Corey Johnson, Neutral Ground. You can check out a previous segment from just a few minutes ago, like Herb Anderson, chairman of Universal Parking, Go Park in New Orleans. He visited with the city council today. You can hear that if you missed it. You can check out yesterday's program, last week, last month. Anything you like via the podcast, I guess, essentially on YouTube. Yeah, click to subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can also check out the program on Anchor, iTunes, Spotify. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson with you every weekday afternoon, starting at 4. Yeah, finally. Real talk radio for New Orleans. Finally. I've been doing this about 30 years now, 30 plus years. Started in BR in March of 1992. It's a great story. I was listening to this talk radio, sports talk radio thing. Had that white brick phone, the Motorola brick phone with the little rubber antenna, and would call into these shows. The old LSU athletic director, I'm going blank on his name now, huh? Bob Broadhead, was doing a show in the mid-afternoon. At like 1:40 in the afternoon, they go to a break, they come back, and it's syndicated all of a sudden. Like this stuff they were carrying, sports talk out of Las Vegas. I called the studio and was like, what happened to Bob? And like, he's no longer with us. Like, they're just unprofessional, kind of telling me everything that went down. I was working at Channel 2 in Baton Rouge, WBRZ. I had graduated in May of 91, moved to New Orleans. 2 months later, got a job at WBRZ, the sports department in Baton Rouge, moved right back to Baton Rouge. It was crazy. Actually moved in with some friends of mine who were still students at LSU and left all my crap in storage in New Orleans. And was in the Channel 2 van with the photographer. We had some time. We drove to the West Bank, Port Allen, pulled right up to the studio. I remember the guy I went and talked to, he sees the Channel 2 van, so I think that gave me a little oomph walking in the door. He asked me if I have any radio experience. He goes, you have any radio experience? I'm about to say no. He goes, have you ever been on the radio? And then I was like, yeah, I have. And he goes, where? I go, KLSU. And he didn't ask any more questions. I would just call KLSU and say, hey, can you play Led Zeppelin album 1 or something like that? So I wasn't lying. I had been on the radio on KLSU. This was a Friday. He literally says, you can start Monday, 10 a.m., 10 to noon. I was like, fantastic, I'm in, thanks. And then I drive off going, oh my God, I got to start Monday, 10 to noon. Got a friend of mine I had met at Channel 2 who wanted to be a sportscaster at the time like me. We did the show together, and the rest is history. March of 1992 doing talk radio, and I've been doing talk radio ever since. Experienced, got a little history, a little knowledge, kind of know what I'm doing somewhat. Coming right back.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan. Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com. Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Have a painting project but can't decide on the perfect color? At Helm Paint and Decorating, we offer half-pint paint samples in any Benjamin Moore color for under $5, so you can test potential paint colors before investing in a full gallon.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
Recently, Kim Kardashian was seen at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Let's party.
Can you think of any other celebrities that won't sue us? Super Discount Store in Chalmette. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. 3235 Paris Road. Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for joining us. A wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Really nice day. It's kind of insane out there. It's like almost 80 degrees.
And in about 36 hours, it could be like half that temperature. Tomorrow, similar day temperature-wise, but rain. Friday and Saturday, we're going to be like low 40s, maybe even high 30s in the morning on the South Shore, North Shore, near freezing. And then next week, we go right back to this kind of, well, I shouldn't say back to this, but 60s and 70s again next week. But yay, cold weekend. Hey, let's head up the I-55 to strawberry country. I just got some of those winter strawberries about 3 days ago from Springfield, Louisiana. Dr. Bob Schmidt joins us from Springfield Wellness Center. How you doing, Dr. Bob?
Mr. Corey Johnson, how are you today, sir?
Doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. We just finished another round today of our rotation, and everything is looking good. I'm so proud to be with Springfield Wellness Center. A great group of people, and we're doing some good.
What's another round of your rotation? What's that mean?
What that means is basically most of the people that are coming in for substance abuse, it'll be a 10-day rotation, begins on a Monday, and it goes all the way through that next Wednesday. And throughout that time, our job is to detox people, get them through their withdrawals. Detox can take within a 10-day period, or even depending on the patient, Corey. As you know, all patients are different.
Yep.
But we can detox people within that period. We can get people through withdrawals within a 5-day period of opioids, and in some cases, alcohol 2 or 3 days. So we've made some tremendous progress. Restoring some damage to the midbrain with the NAD, and we're very proud of what we do. I think my job at Springfield is I'm one of the mental health doctors over there. And so, compassion is it runs in all of our medical staff, but as a mental health clinician, it kind of breaks my heart to see some of these people that come in initially on that first day suffering so badly.
Yep.
But it's such a beautiful sight, at the end of their rotation, at the end of those anywhere from 6 to 10 days, to see the amazing recovery from, the hurt and the pain that they're going through, that they've gone through.
Yeah, some folks, I guess, just slip into that, could have an injury, they're on opioids or, some pain medicine. Some folks just start drinking. They don't realize they're drinking too much. Weeks, months, years later, they realize they're an alcoholic, essentially. And for a lot of folks, Doc, the way I like to say it, I don't like saying it, but it's how I look at it. There's a hole in their life, some problem, whatever, and they fill it with drugs or alcohol. When the drugs and alcohol are removed, the hole still exists. That's where you come in, right?
Corey, you just nailed it. You said it so well, buddy. The thing is these people are coping. And they're, most of the people that are coming in with any types of addictions are usually stress related. That's the key word. It's something stressful, something in their life is going on that is troublesome. And so, these triggers that hit them, are severe in so many cases, no matter what it may be. It could be, like you said, it could be pain pills from a back injury or this, that, or the other. And then it could just be the stresses of life in general. And, what they're doing in order to cope is they're popping a pill or they're drinking excessively.
Yep.
That's how they're treating, the pain. And so what we try to do, obviously, is get them through that. And not only through the medical component of the NAD that works so well, but we also have a good staff of nurses, of course, doctors there, and counselors that, like I said before, that I'm very proud of. We're very compassionate, and we help them, and we get through. We find out what their triggers are and teach them skills on how to cope with this dreadful disease that you're going through.
You said the medical component of the NAD, not like a drug or medicine component. NAD is like fuel for our cells. It's naturally in us. I'm not knocking any other rehab that uses drugs to get people off. If that works, great. But you guys do it differently. You're just refueling the body with something that should be naturally there that's maybe depleted. And I think the huge benefit of this NAD treatment, Doc, and correct me if I'm wrong, two things that just jump out at me besides the first thing I just mentioned, that it's not a drug, it's part of it. Two things that jump out. Folks that have an addiction problem, the NAD, and folks that have been to other rehab places numerous times and keep, relapsing, the NAD lessens the extreme pain and anguish of the detox. It diminishes that, and it shortens the length of that, correct?
Without a doubt. And once again, well said. And what happens is we have damage to the midbrain. And once again, not to knock any other facility and so forth, but giving them another drug is not necessarily the answer. And so what we try to do with NAD is we restore that damage to the midbrain. And with that restoration, it helps them tremendously, not only detox, but stop the craving, stop the withdrawals, brings a lot of focus and clarity within their brain, and helps them on recovery. And I thought that's what it's all about. They need that clarity so that they can continue to learn from the triggers. They can continue to learn coping skills and move forward in their life.
Yeah, I mean, having the clear brain, not having the cravings is, you've seen it on these folks' faces. It's just, no pun intended, mind-blowing. They see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, we're very well said, Corey. And let's not leave out what it does to the families.
Yep.
And that is, you got this, we need family support so badly. These poor people need family support so badly.
No doubt.
And we try to encourage that. And most of the families love their loved ones and want them better and so forth. So it's very painful to the families too. So yeah, we've got a good track record. And once again, I'm just so proud to be part of this team.
Dr. Schmidt, a pleasure.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing?
Thanks, Dr.
Stand
Schmidt.
out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Where can you find shish kebab in New Orleans? Lamb, beef, chicken, shrimp, plus all your other Mediterranean favorites. Lebanon's Cafe on the streetcar line. Lunch, dinner, and shish kebab. Lebanon's Cafe.
For years, you've been hearing about the virtues of Springfield Wellness Center and their successful treatment of over 1,000 individuals who overcame their substance addiction. Now it's your turn. Here's Springfield's founder, Paula Norris Metier.
Our Brain Restoration Plus Detox Treatment is an intravenous nutritional supplement that restores the brain's chemical imbalances. Our patients detox with minimal withdrawal symptoms. It also blocks the craving, which is unbelievable and which is what most people say they have a hard time believing, but it restores neuron function. Many treatment programs use one drug to get you off of another drug. At Springfield, we treat the problem. Addiction is first a brain disease. If you or a loved one suffer from substance abuse, please just give us a call.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center now, 504-291-2800. That's 291-2800.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, hey, what can I do to give you a hand? And he said, well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place. So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
When you think of Fury's Restaurant in Metairie, you think about their daily lunch specials like red beans and rice, black-eyed peas, white butter beans, liver and onions. Daily lunch specials. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
I remember in high school going to the booth because, IDs didn't matter. Going to the booth in high school, junior, senior year on a Friday night, 3 for $1, Long Island iced teas, whatever. But I'd watch Dukes of Hazzard and then I'd watch Dallas, which aired, I think, like 9 to 10. So my buddies would be rolling into the booth like 8:30. I didn't get there till about 10:30 at night. And usually had a De La Salle soccer game. The very next day around 1 o'clock, JV game at 11, varsity at 1. And I wasn't a big get hammered type of guy. I was more like, hey, there are lots of chicks here. There's lots of women here. Anyway, the olden days, back in the 80s, early 80s, Who Shot JR and the like. Yeah, I got to admit, I might have only been 16, 17 or so, but I liked Dallas. I loved Larry Hagman, an underrated actor. He was fantastic in I Dream of Jeannie. I mean, awesome in I Dream of Jeannie, and was incredible as J.R. Ewing in Dallas. Now, that Stone movie, JFK, it's portrayed like a documentary. It's actually like a lot of fiction and just a lot of nonsense, a lot of make-believe. Oliver Stone kind of on JFK. I mean, is there something there, more to it? Maybe so. I mean, if you ask me, I think there was one gunman. It was Oswald. And if you've ever been to the Book Bank Depository building, I think someone who's a mediocre shot might have been able to shoot a target moving by in a convertible driving right there. It's 100 feet away. It's not like a 250-yard shot. It's like right there. It's like an easy shot. If you've been at Daily Plaza in Dallas, the book depository building is still there. And you can see the building, the window from the street and everything. And it's like, it's not really that hard of a shot. I think even for someone who's a mediocre shot, not someone who was trained by the military like Oswald. So I think it's only one person. But are there things that the government has hidden from us? Of course. Of course. We find that kind of stuff out all the time. But I don't think, hey, the United States and the government is just more times than not, they're lying, they're deviant, they're doing stuff they're not supposed to do. I think it's the exact opposite. And I think folks just love controversy and want things to be kind of crazy and not like they seem. But anyway, I don't know how I got off on the tangent going from Dallas to Oswald. But I liked, as a kid, it's kind of an adult show. I just liked, I know how I got off on it. Larry Hagman was in the JFK movie. My bad. Larry Hagman was in the JFK movie and was like this Texas oil baron guy, I guess, who was a mover and shaker and a political influencer and was, multi-millionaire type. But just Larry Hagman with like the cocktail in hand and the red face and just mad, and we got to get rid of Kennedy and all that was fantastic in that make-believe movie, that nonsensical movie. Anyway, Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. I like Larry Hagman. I was sorry when he passed away. I think an underrated actor, a really underrated actor. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program, 5 o'clock Power Hour, brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Why aren't you at Katie's in Mid-City right now? What are you waiting for? Folks love Katie's. Folks that know Katie's love Katie's. Indoor dining, outdoor dining. Today, tomorrow, a night like this, enjoy outdoor dining. It's nearly 80 degrees. Feels like 80, but 77 degrees right now in New Orleans, almost summerish. Yeah, get over to Katie's right now. They're about to crank up dinner. They serve food throughout the day, lunch, dinner, and that middle of the day, not only serving food, but folks sitting down at the bar, New Orleans characters getting off of work. You will laugh. You'll meet some folks that'll become your friend. Just a great place. Everybody that's been loves Katie's. Yeah, why aren't you at Katie's right now? As New Orleans as it gets. It literally is the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. It's Yattsville, USA at Katie's in Mid-City, Iberville, corner Talamacus. I like describing it this way. It's a few blocks back from like Bricata's on Carrollton. In between Carrollton and Doc Francis Parkway, the old Jeff Davis. In between Carrollton and Doc Francis Parkway. In between Canal Street and Bienville. Katie's restaurant in Mid-City, a true taste of New Orleans, and big portions, perfect for sharing. A Mid-City mainstay, Katie's in Mid-City. 5 o'clock Power Hour this afternoon, brought to you by Katie's. Hey, you folks out in Harahan, Old Jefferson, River Ridge, Elmwood, the Katie's of Harahan, Bienvenue, right in the curve on Hickory. The Katie's of Harahan, Bienvenue. You won't be disappointed. This won't disappoint you. This is fantastic news. Damar Hamlin, released from the Buffalo Hospital, now continuing his rehab at home. At home. Fantastic news. Bills are playing in the playoffs this weekend. I'd love to see Damar Hamlin there. Are you kidding me? And I'm still waiting for the video when some family member said, hey, Damar, you remember your toy fund? You had a GoFundMe goal of $2,500 by Christmas, and you exceeded it by $491. By $491. $2,971, something like that. He raised a little under $3,000. I think it's at north of 8 million now. I just wanted to see his face when they're like, hey, DeMar, your toy, campaign, your fundraiser got a little spike while you were in the hospital. Oh, really? Let me see. From $3,000 to 8 million. Just great. I want to see that video. I love the story of Buffalo last week, returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown. I got to think that's for Damar Hamlin. I think that's just, intervention from a higher power. Supposedly the nurse's station, all the buzzers and whistles go off from Damar Hamlin's room. They're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Increased heart rate, all this stuff. They beeline into the room and he's celebrating. Just great stuff. No, just a great feel-good story because it was the exact opposite a week and a half ago. One of just the most painful things to watch in my life. Just a regular football hit. Damar Hamlin stands up for about a second and then just falls back on his back. Thank God for the training staff, the doctors on site that recognized it. That pumping of the chest wasn't to revive Hamlin's heart to get him alive again. It was to continue the blood flow of the heart, pumping the heart manually to continue to push blood to vital organs, including the brain. That was key. And then doctors on site realizing this guy's not breathing. This guy doesn't have a pulse. And then defibrillators at the game there to shock him back to life. And that's where the Saints and Pelicans come in last week. Gail Benson coming up with hundreds of thousands of dollars and supplying NORD and JPRD, the rec departments of Orleans and Jefferson Parish, respectively, with dozens and dozens and dozens of defibrillators. My alma mater, De La Salle, we lost a De La Salle kid a few years ago where a defibrillator may have saved his life. So in typical Gail Benson fashion, stepping up for the city of New Orleans and the metro area like they always do. Seriously, like they always do. Thank goodness for Mrs. Gail Benson, the Saints and Pelicans organization. You know me, I'm not some rear end kisser, but the NBA, the NFL, it's like our Fortune 500 companies. There's no New Orleans downplay. There's no New Orleans laziness. There's no New Orleans dysfunction. They're part of this nationwide group, the NFL and the NBA. And there's a standard. There's a level. They don't just give the franchise to anyone. They don't give franchises to anyone that's wealthy. Ask Donald Trump, who so desperately wanted to own an NFL team. And the NFL owners, Republican, Democrat, whatever, wanted to have nothing to do with him. So, no, it's an exclusive club. It's first class. It's Fortune, 100-ish. And thank goodness for Mrs. Gail Benson, who steps up for our city all the time. Corey Johnson with you. A wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Don't move.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years. serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday. Dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson with you. Thanks for finding us on the radio. Oh, so fine, 93.9 FM. Some good things are about to happen at that station. Oh, so fine, 93.9 FM. Stick around for that. Thanks for joining us on television, 4 to 5:30. That means about 10 more minutes on TV all over Louisiana. Cox Channel 4 TV, 4 to 5:30. Spectrum Channel 333 television, 4 to 5:30. Live streaming online via our website, CoreyTalks.com. You can email us. Corey spelled K-A-A-R-E. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Corey spelled K-A-A-R-E. Corey at CoreyTalks.com. That's how you can email us. Corey at CoreyTalks.com. We're on YouTube right now. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Corey Johnson Neutral Ground, Anchor, iTunes, Spotify. Lots of ways to check us out. I picked up Lebanon's Cafe today for lunch. Chicken shawarma. I get a little well done, extra crispy. Like Frank Brightson says, brown means flavor. Chicken shawarma. That wonderful tabbouleh on the side. What a great, I don't want to say salad. I don't think it's like a salad, but it's parsley, Bulgar wheat, olive oil, lemon, salt, black pepper, some tomatoes, some cucumbers, just fantastic, lemony and just really good. I take the fried football kibbe. I get that as a side. Little fried football kibbe. Looks like a little football. I break it open. I scoop out with my fork the hashwi. That's what it is in Arabic. The meat and pine nuts and onions. And I eat that, put that on the side. Blue Boy loves that, by the way. I'll bring that home to him sometimes. Or when I, like today, to-go order, just give it to him after I'm done. And then I'll stuff the tabbouleh into the fried football kibbe. You remember the McBLT at McDonald's? The cold stays cold, the hot stays hot. They had like the bun, the lettuce, tomato on one side of the container, the bottom of the bun and the burger on the other side, and you'd make the burger yourself. And they hyped it like the cold side stays cold, the hot side stays hot, some gimmick like that. The McBLT or something like that. It's kind of like that. I mean, when I grew up, my grandmother, my Situ, she'd make these fried football kibbies. I would open them up and then either stuff tabbouleh or we'd make a salad with like just, kind of green leafy lettuce with olive oil, lemon, salt, and black pepper. That was it. Maybe a little red wine vinegar. But I even stopped using that. That's a great salad, by the way. Olive oil, lemon, salt, little black pepper. Fantastic dressing, super simple, really good. I'd stuff the football kibbe with the salad, the hot and the cold together, just fantastic. Eat it however you like, but I can promise you this, lamb chop, shish kebab, all your favorite Middle Eastern sides, you won't be disappointed. On a night like this, enjoy outdoor dining. It's like 75 degrees right now. Outdoor dining tonight at Lebanon's Cafe. Or inside, climate-controlled dining room, or like I did today for lunch, a to-go order. On Carrollton by the streetcar barn, under the green awning, under the oak trees, on the streetcar line. Yeah, tonight for dinner till 9:30, Lebanon's Cafe. Really, really, really good. 5 o'clock powwow. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. Herb Anderson joined us, the former chairman of the National Parking Association nationwide, chairman of Universal Parking, a nationwide company. You might know it as Go Park in New Orleans. He lives here. He runs that company. Today, he spoke with the city council. And Herb is, their parking lots are well lit. Their parking lots have cameras, something that Councilperson Leslie Harris was saying. Maybe these parking lots need to have cameras. Maybe these parking lots need to be more well lit. Even that, Herb Anderson and his company, Go Park, choose to do that. That's their choice. But shouldn't the city and the streets around these parking lots be well lit? The city's kind of to blame for that. And cameras, shouldn't the city have crime cameras around these parking lots since all these break-ins are going down? Wouldn't that be some type of a deterrent or even solution? Instead, and we had New Orleans City Councilman, District C, Freddie King on the program yesterday. You can check that out on YouTube if you'd like. And I like Freddie. And I think he just wants to help the city. But I just don't know if the ordinance is right. And I told him this, where you're putting the onus on the business owner. And in this case, it's parking lot folks. What's next? A clothing store is going to be required to have a security guard because a lot of clothing stores are getting broken into, or a snowball stand's going to have a security guard because a lot of snowball stands are getting broken into. It's the city's fault. And because the city can't do what it's supposed to do with our tax-paying money, with our taxes, they're kind of putting the onus on these business owners, the parking lot owners. I just don't think that's a real solution or the right way to do it. And then companies like, Herb Anderson's company, Universal Parking, locally known as Go Park, maybe they're like, you know what? We're going to just pull up stakes and go somewhere else. And that New Orleans mentality, someone else will come in and take over that parking lot. That's just a terrible way to do things. A great New Orleanian. His DNA is full of New Orleans blood. His parents, his uncle, Pontchartrain Beach, part of New Orleans for like 50 years, from like the 30s into the early 80s. Talking about Jay Batt, who is a successful businessman, owns Joe Bank Clothiers, the only franchisee of all the Joe Banks in the country. There's only one franchisee, Jay Batt and his partner. That's it. He owns some property in Louisiana, New Orleans, and other states. Like in Asheville, he's got a building that has a Ruth's Chris. He owns the Ruth's Chris. He's the franchisee of a Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, a Talbot, some other businesses in that building he owns in Asheville, North Carolina. And he's got that in other places as well. Bleeds New Orleans. Grew up out by the lakefront, by Pontchartrain Beach, less than a mile from Pontchartrain Beach. He sacrificed for us. He became a councilman, which takes him away from his businesses and maybe focusing in on that full time and making money. He didn't become a councilman to set up his friends and family. Jay's a businessman that was already doing very, very well. Two things of major significance. And you can say, I don't care. Don't let the door hit you on the rear end. That loser mentality. Or you can be concerned when someone that is as big a New Orleanian as it gets, like a Mardi Gras Indian, as New Orleans as it gets, Jay Batt still has the Metairie Joe Bank store, still has the Mandeville Joe Bank store, Metro New Orleans Joe Bank stores. Shut down his favorite store, his flagship store, a beautiful store downtown on Gravier in the CBD. What is it? Barone and Gravier, I think. Carondelet and Gravier. Old historic building, an incredible store. Staircase, winding staircase up the right side to go to the second floor, an elevator to take you to the second floor, an escalator to take you to the second floor. Had to be one of the top-notch, most beautiful Joe Bank clothing stores in the entire chain. Jay and his partner invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in that store about 2 years ago, making it flood-proof. Because the city can't get their you-know-what together and the store would flood and you have to shut it down for a few days to clean up. He just shut it down about a year ago, closed it, walked away. And then even worse, maybe worse, moved from Orleans Parish across the 17th Street Canal to Old Metairie. Hey, TV audience, see you tomorrow, mañana. No, move to Metairie. So when someone like Jay Batt is sort of throwing in the towel with his business and living in Orleans Parish, that speaks volumes. That's gigantic. Someone will go take over that Joe Bank store. I haven't driven down there. I would think, I don't know, maybe there's a for lease sign on it. Maybe it's leased out to something else right now. I have no idea. I'll go check it out and find out. But I do know this. Someone, a big winner, a big tax contributor, successful. So he had a big house, paying taxes on that. A successful business in New Orleans that employed a bunch of folks. Now just shut it down. Enough's enough. When someone like Jay Batt throws in the towel and says enough's enough, we have major, major, major problems. And if the solution's like, yeah, Herb Anderson and those parking people, just let them leave then and someone else will come in, that's pathetic. And putting the onus on them because the city can't get their you-know-what together, where you've got to have cameras, you've got to hire a security guard. Hey, those lots are expensive to park anyway. They should have that anyway. Okay, expensive or not, whatever you think is expensive, fair or not, the price is going to go up more if you're forcing a business to do things by city ordinance, like put in cameras and put in a security guard. We're only asking for the security guard an hour before the event and an hour after the event and during the event. And I don't know if that's the solution. I'm not knocking security guards. It's a legitimate job. But I think a security guard, even you ask the security guard, hey, rent a cop. I don't think they're you know, hey man, I go to the range all the time. I'm really good with this gun.
At
I'm
Home Paint
trained like a
Decorating, our
cop.
paints are in it for the long haul.
Not the
In
solution.
fact, our top Benjamin exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years. We mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For years, you've been hearing about the virtues of Springfield Wellness Center and their successful treatment of over 1,000 individuals who overcame their substance addiction. Now it's your turn. Here's Springfield's Dr. Richard Metier.
For over 20 years, we've successfully treated patients with substance abuse issues and have also had success with patients suffering from chronic stress, depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. We uniquely address restorative issues at the cellular level that impact mental health. We treat our patients with an intravenous nutritional supplement that helps restore various brain functions. Most of our patients have greatly reduced withdrawal symptoms. We work toward maximizing nutritional interventions while utilizing traditional medication interventions when needed. Our treatment works toward restoring the brain's health while returning the patient to a normal, dependent-free life.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center now, 504-291-2800. That's 291-2800.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
Yeah, you, right? Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for checking us out. Yeah, a city council ordinance law requiring parking lots to have an attendant during big events. Not a security guard, an attendant. I just don't see how that's going to be any kind of deterrent for these crazy criminals. Look at the Tasty video on Broad and Esplanade. There were attendants, there were employees working inside when the guys rammed the truck through the building to steal the ATM, which I don't know if you've seen the movie Barbershop. The sub-story of the main plot was these clowns that drove a truck into the convenience store and stole the ATM. And the big joke was the ATM had no money in it. Same thing with these jackasses. You got to watch the video. It is the land of the stupid on top of the land of the dumb. I mean, these are just moronic, brazen, emotional idiots. They go to the Tasty, tug on the door, it doesn't open. They end up driving the truck over the little yellow, stolen vehicle, over the yellow, curb thing where your vehicle parks, over the curb itself, through the glass window of the Tasty. But the ATM was apparently bolted to the floor. So this loser gets out the truck with the truck bed right there, ready to throw the ATM, and he's tugging and pulling on the ATM. It won't move. Gets back in the truck, rams through it again, hits the ATM, still won't move. Like a third time, trying again. Finally, it moves. They bust it open and I guess realize there's no money in it. So thousands of dollars in damage to the Tasty. A blown up ATM with no money in it. I mean, right out of the Barbershop movie. I posted a clip of that scene on my Twitter. So there were people making the donuts at like 4:30, 4:45, almost 5 a.m. in the morning when these jokers rammed through the building. You can see them on the video. They hear all the noise. They come from out back to the counter like, what's going on? Like maybe, somebody accidentally hit the gas and rode through the, building by accident. That's happened before at different businesses in the city. Grandmother, grandpa, whatever, young person, it's the gas instead of the brake, runs through the wall of a building. Then they realize it's a bunch of brazen criminals. So they run out the back of the building and leave. I had Herb Anderson on from Go Park in New Orleans. He visited with the council today. He said in one of his secure lots, lit up, or in a parking garage, lit up with cameras, security guards there armed. A car pulls up, 5 guys come out already with the guns pointed at the security guard. He runs off. What's security guard supposed to do? Pull out his gun and get shot? 5 guys with guns. That's a security guard at the parking lot. He should have run off. 5 guys with guns? He's outmanned, he's outgunned, he's going to die. What is an attendant at a parking lot going to do? Deter these clowns? These clowns knew there were people making donuts in the Tasty and they ran the truck through the window. An employee working the lot is insane. It's not going to be any kind of a deterrent. It's just a wrong move by the city of New Orleans. And I don't know. I'm going to have to get JP Morrell on the show. He kind of was saying this is a weird justification. Like, hey, there's no cap on what these parking lots charge. Like, it's expensive to park there. They should provide parking, an attendant or a person. What are you talking about? It's America. The parking lot can be $1, it can be $1,000 to park. It's a private business. It's their choice. Obviously, what they're charging works. People can go park somewhere else, park a little farther away, walk a little farther, pay less. That's how it works. You park in the building you work in, it might be $250 a month. You park a block and a half away, it might be $150 a month. You park 4 blocks away, it might be $100 a month. You park a mile away, it might be free. It's just insane. I don't understand JP Morrell's logic on this. I really don't. There's no cap on what these lots can charge. Welcome to America. I got a to-go order from a restaurant yesterday. Not going to mention the restaurant. I called the manager. I was ticked off. I know the manager. I go in there and pick up my to-go order for lunch, which is already like $28 what I ordered. Because they used to have a sandwich and now they only have the platter. I like it, so I got the platter. I was like, all right, I know I'm going to pay for the dinner portion for lunch, but so be it. It's going to be an expensive lunch today. I'll make up and get a cheap dinner tonight. Something like that. That's me. So I'll go in there and I'm like, oh, I need a Coke to go as well. And I hadn't given her my credit card. She goes, I've already got, this bill rung up. I'm going to have to do your credit card twice. I'm like, you can't just add the Coke to the bill? She's like, no. It's like, okay, no problem. So I pay the $28 for the lunch. And I don't know about you. I don't know. I guess empathy for service industry folks. That even a to-go order, they're bagging it. They're putting it together for me. They took my order. I tip. And not that Drew Brees $77 to-go order $3. On $77, I'd probably make it $90. I'd probably give $13 on a $77 to-go order. That's just me. Almost 20%. At least would have made $77.85, not $3. So that's just me. That's my choice. You can be, I don't know, to me, cheap or tight or whatever, and not tip somebody. It's a to-go order. Why am I tipping them? I don't know. Justify your not parting with money however you want. I figure the extra $3, $4, $5 to that person, that place I frequent, means more to them than me. And I'm going to get good service. And it usually works that way. I'm friends, acquaintances with a lot of people I go to at different restaurants. I want to take care of them, so they'll take care of me. Plus, I'm picky. I want this on the side. I want this like that, blah, blah, blah. So they ring up the credit card. The other person, I think it was a girl, went and got my Coke. They bring back my Coke. It's in a little styrofoam cup with ice, probably like literally 4, 5, 6 ounces of Coke. A little plastic cup with a lid and a straw. $3.27. I said, what? $3.27. I said, this Coke's $3.27. I said, keep the Coke. And I just grabbed the to-go order and walked out. And I said, and this guy goes, hey, man, a guy waiting next to us, you forgot your drink. I said, no, I'm leaving the drink. They wanted $3.27. And I tipped her $7 on the 28. It's like 35. So I tip them $7. It's already a $28 lunch, $35. I would have paid $1.50, maybe $1.99, something like that for that Coke that's worth about 50 cents. That cost them about 10 cents, literally. No, just gouging me on the Coke. I might have paid $3.27 for like a Honduran Coke in the big green bottle, from Mexico, from Honduras, something like that. But I was ticked off. I was like, that's ridiculous. I called the manager. He's like, yeah, man, $3.27, that's about right. It's $2.50. I'm like, I hear you, dude. Makes me not want to come back to your restaurant. Hey, they can be like, great, Corey, don't come back. I won't. Just ridiculous. But that's their choice. They can charge $3.27 for the Coke. I get to choose if I want to buy it or not. The city doesn't say you got to have a security guard or cameras because they charge $3.27 for a Coke. I don't understand the logic of these lots are already expensive. They're already gouging you. I don't get it. It's a special event. Yeah, on a Sunday when no one's around, I guess it is $5. There's not a sense of urgency. There's not a, but when it's a Saints game or something, I guess they're going to charge a premium. Park somewhere else. That's their business model. The cars fill the lots. It obviously works. But I don't think it's this surface lot parking folks that are supposed to be responsible for the cars necessarily. I think it is the city of New Orleans that should have a police presence. The city of New Orleans that should have well-lit streets. The city of New Orleans that should have crime cameras if it's a crime problem. I see those NOPD cameras blinking in different parts of town. Put them up by the surface lots. Instead, the city council's mentality is, hey, we're in a crisis right now. The business community needs to step up and help assist us because we can't get it done with the NOPD alone. Putting the onus on the private business owners just does not make sense to me at all. In the least bit, I don't get it. And it seems unconstitutional because it's exclusively the parking lot attendants. Like, every business in New Orleans doesn't have to have a security guard or cameras or an attendant. I don't get it. I don't get that mentality. Instead of the city of New Orleans taking responsibility, They're putting it on the parking lot folks. And they're justifying it by, hey, they already charge a lot. There's no cap on what they charge. They're already gouging folks. It's up to them to step up. We need help. I mean, just all kind of different angles. What's next? What's the next target for these brazen criminals in New Orleans? And will that private business owner have to come up with cameras or a security guard or something like that? I don't get it. I think that is the wrong angle, and it's not even a solution. And attendance not going to deter anyone. Look at the Tasty Donut truck ramming into the building on Broad and Esplanade video. There are people working inside. They ran out the back door. Herb Anderson said he had an armed security guard at one of his lots. 5 brazen criminals come out with guns pointed at him. He ran. What's he supposed to do? City of New Orleans, my God, so dysfunctional, so broken. And this city council ordinance, I think, is not the answer. Putting the onus on the business community, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
At Helm Paint, we go the extra mile with free delivery anywhere in the metro area. In the middle of a job and short on paint? Call us and we'll come to you.
Short on time? Call in your order and pick it up in the drive-thru at our Earhart Boulevard location.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Yeah, you right. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you miss Herb Anderson, chairman of Universal Parking, a nationwide company. He runs that whole shoot match. He's a New Orleans guy, works out in New Orleans. You might know the Universal Parking entity here as Go Park. He visited with other parking lot owners with the city council today. I don't like this ordinance. It sets a bad precedent. It tells the world, hey, if you're a parking lot company and you want to come into New Orleans' CBD, here are the requirements that maybe aren't required elsewhere. I mean, this is all automated stuff. Have to have an attendant. I don't know how that is going to be a deterrent. Some $15 an hour person standing around the lot. Like some criminal's going to go, oh, wow, there's an attendant there. Let me go somewhere else. I mean, I don't mean to be derogatory, but like a security guard, the rent-a-cop, I mean, they're not trained like policemen or, military. They're there as just sort of, wow, there's a security guard with a gun. Maybe I'll go rob another bank. Maybe I'll go rob another business. It's supposed to deter folks. But Herb Anderson said, I have a security guard at a lot that's lit up and has cameras. A vehicle pulls up. 5 guys get out pointing a gun at my security guard. He ran like he should. So even a security guard with a gun wouldn't be a turn. If you had an NOPD officer and 5 guys pull out of a car with guns pointing at him, the NOPD officer should run. No, the city of New Orleans is broken, and this isn't a way to fix the problem. But the ordinance seems to be going into effect, and I just think I had Freddie King on yesterday. I like Freddie, but he was just saying, this is what we got to do. Everybody's got to pitch in. I just don't think that's right, putting the onus on the parking lot owners. And then JP Morrell made a weird suggestion today, like, man, there's no cap on what they charge. What does that mean? I don't get it. I don't get it. They can charge $1. They can charge $1,000. It's their choice, and the public gets to choose if they want to park in that parking lot or not. It's like, man, this is the only place I can park to go to a Saints game. Go a little bit farther down the street. Come earlier and find a lot that's closer to where you want to be. I don't know what to tell you, but that is meaningless. There's no cap on what these parking lots can charge. Yeah, welcome to the United States of America. My God. I go to a steakhouse, and some steak, a New York strip, 12 ounces is $35. Someplace it's $45. Someplace it's $60. Might be a place it's $75. Go to Las Vegas, some Japanese Wagyu, it might be $300, $400, $500. I don't know what to tell you. There's no cap on what they charge. That is irrelevant. Now, the broken city of New Orleans and this broken, hyper-woke liberal council is going about this the wrong way. Let's put the onus on the business, owner. Make them have to come up with cameras or light up the lot or put a security guard or an attendant there. None of that's going to help or stop. It is not going to stop this crime. Every parking lot in the CBD can have an attendant there. And these criminals are going to still go bust in the cars. You know what the attendant's going to do? Call 911 and get away. Like those employees at the Tasty when the guys drove the truck into the Tasty on Esplanade and Broad. There were employees there. Did that deter these criminals? Not at all. They weren't worried about if the employees might be armed. The employees might call 911. Could care less. We're doing a snatch and grab of this ATM. Folks busting into our car in a parking lot, same mentality. They'd laugh at a parking attendant. They'd laugh at a security guard. They put a gun on him and say, don't move, I'll blow your brains out. These are ruthless criminals. This is not a solution. This is bad, and it sends a terrible signal to the business community. Like, hey, however you're operating, you might be asked to do more because the city can't get their you-know-what together. We pay taxes for basic things like policing and paved streets and lit up streets and, a safe city. And that doesn't exist. So instead of solving the problem, instead of bringing in more security, the city hire more security guards. New Orleans Guardian Angels. I've been talking about that for the last month now. Is someone else going to pick up on that? It's in 130 cities all over the world. You have a handful of Guardian Angels around these surface parking lots coupled with the NOPD. That could be a deterrent. This isn't the answer. It's a bad move. It's moving backwards. And it even puts more of a spotlight on the dysfunction of New Orleans. No, it's amazing. Amazing. Great news. Damar Hamlin released from the Buffalo Hospital. Karen Carter Peterson sentenced to 22 months in prison. Now the investigation continues on those BS political consulting firms in New Orleans like this Jalen Group. Jay Banks, the former councilman, Graylin Banks, his brother, taking money from Karen Carter Peterson and keeping some and kicking it back to Karen Carter Peterson. Karen Carter Peterson pulled a Walter Reed on the North Shore, pulled a John Alario on the West Bank, using campaign funds for personal use. And she was head of the Louisiana Democratic Party, funneling money from that to these Jalen type groups, these BS consulting groups. Just New Orleans at its worst. People that don't work getting paid by either city taxes, state taxes, or people that donate to a political party expecting something else. And they don't do anything. They took a little money. They kicked back money to Karen Carter Peterson. She's going to jail. The investigation now continues on those BS political consulting firms. City Hall selects a design team to fix the municipal auditorium. NOPD officer Jeffrey Vappy, spending a lot of time at that Pontalba apartment building that the mayor thinks is her apartment, under federal investigation, has returned to the NOPD for full duty. Broncos, and now the Texans in Arizona, all permission to talk to Sean Payton. Pels tonight. I'll see you tomorrow, Thursday, straight up 4 o'clock. Radio, TV, internet, YouTube, be there. 93.9 FM New Orleans. Blue Boy, you're the best.